Hello, welcome to Dungeoneers Pack, a channel bringing you player-focused discussions and character guides for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. My name is Josh, thank you for watching. The Phantom Rogue adds a necromantic spin to the skill-driven class. In this video, I'm going to take a look at the Phantom Rogue's key features, discuss ways you can use the theme of the subclass to develop your character, provide some ways you can reflavor the subclass, and give you some ideas on how you can play the Phantom Rogue in the official 5th edition settings. With that said, let's get started. The Phantom Rogue has 3 key features, with 2 out of the 3 of them being picked up as soon as we choose this subclass. First up is Whispers of the Dead, which doubles down on the rogue being the skill expert in the party. Every time we finish a rest, we can choose a skill or tool we don't have proficiency in, and gain proficiency with that skill or tool until we use this ability again. Whispers of the Dead has wonderful flavor, having our rogue summon the spirits or memories of the dead to help guide them. Mechanically, the feature makes the rogue a jack of all trades to some extent. It is similar to the Knowledge Cleric's Channel Divinity, but with way more flexibility. The only drawback to this feature is that it does require some pre-planning on the player's behalf to take full advantage of its utility. The second key feature we gain at level 3 alters the rogue's combat abilities into something even more effective. Wails from the Grave lets us deal necrotic damage to an additional target whenever we deal sneak attack damage. When we reach level 17, that extra necrotic damage can also be applied to our original target because of the Death's Friend feature. Early on, this feature is only limited by our proficiency bonus, but once we reach the mid-tier levels of play, we receive a feature that grants additional uses. The Rogue is already one of the most effective martial classes in the game, and this feature makes the class even more effective. But there is a drawback to the damage you deal with this feature for those thinking of multiclassing into or with the subclass. Wails from the Grave does not make the subclass ideal for multiclassing from an optimization standpoint. This feature's power is dependent on our sneak attack die, which scales as we level into the class. So the less we invest into the Rogue, we miss out on potential damage we could be dealing with this feature. In the mid-tier levels of play, the Phantom Rogue gains the powerful Tokens of the Departed feature. Tokens of the Departed turns the Rogue into a Reaper of Souls. Every time a creature dies, we can use our reaction to trap its soul into a trinket. We can cash in the trinket to use several abilities. We can continue using Wails from the Grave or the Ghostwalk feature we earn at later levels, give ourselves advantage on death or constitution saving throws, or summon the spirit out of the trinket and ask it a single question. This feature allows us to continue using our subclass features as long as we have a free reaction to collect tokens from dying enemies. My only issue is that we have to wait until level 9 to get this feature, as it feels like it could have been the star mechanic of the subclass and had other features built around it. It really does capture the necromantic flavor of the subclass. The DM and player have tons of roleplay fuel whenever a player traps a soul into a trinket. It is fairly obvious that this subclass has a connection to the dead. What separates this subclass from other similar flavored subclasses is that its moral stance concerning the undead is flexible. The Phantom Rogue can be used for a variety of characters within the spectrum of good and evil. They could be a character with necromantic ambitions, someone who can be protecting the living against the dead, or someone who has just been brought back to life and not sure what role they play in the greater scheme of things. When a player builds a necromancer wizard or a grave cleric, the thematic emphasis is on the character's view of the afterlife. The Phantom Rogue, on the other hand, suggests for a player to consider the character's relationship with the afterlife. Here are some questions I asked when building your character with this subclass in mind. Was the character brought back to life? What was their life before being brought back? Do they know what brought them back? Do they protect the plane from the undead? Or do they want to use necromantic forces to cheat death? If your character was just brought back to life, consider using the Reborn lineage, or if possible, the Hollow One supernatural gift from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. If your character is protecting the living from the undead, consider using the Acolyte background or the Magic Initiate feat to pick up some cleric spells. And if your character is on the path to become a lich, consider picking up the Shadow Touch or Magic Initiate feats to learn some necromancy spells. The Phantom Rogue's features are heavily steeped in the undead flavor and make it pretty difficult to detach them from it. There is a potential flavor swap that I feel could be suitable, but also could be a bit of a stretch. We could reflavor the Phantom Rogue by stealing the subclass fantasy from the Genie Warlock and having our rogue be a servant of a powerful genie. This is a bit of a tough sell, as the idea doesn't come to fruition until level 9 when we receive the Tokens of the Departed feature. The tokens created with this feature could be our character fulfilling the request from the genie we serve. They have tasked us with collecting souls or creatures. In regards to the earlier features, they can play into this idea of the genie giving us a bit of power or help. With the permission from the DM, the damage from Wails from the Grave could be altered to the damage type associated with the genie we serve. Whispers of the Dead could easily be flavored as being granted a small wish or gift from the genie to be able to complete the genie's goal. Consider using the Genasi lineage in order to leverage the elemental spells and lineage's lore to support this flavor change. Now let's take a look at how we can play the Phantom Rogue in the official 5th edition settings. In Forgotten Realms, we could be a Shatterkai sent by the Raven Queen to collect the souls of those attempting to cheat death and escape her grasp. In Eberron, we could be a former member of the Raven Corps who uses their abilities as a mercenary after the end of the war. In Ravnica, we can be a tithe taker for the Orzhov Syndicate that travels between the districts collecting coin or souls of those that owe a debt to the guild. And finally in Theros, we could be a champion of Erebos who has accepted our ultimate fate only to be allowed to return to the land of the living to do our god's bidding. Despite the undead trappings of the subclass, the Phantom Rogue doesn't push the class in a different direction, but by no means is that a bad thing. The Phantom Rogue will make the rogue player be better at filling the roles the rogue already fills. As a rogue, we are already the best skill-based class in the game, and the Whispers of the Dead feature just doubles down on this fact. While the Bard could give the rogue a run for their money due to Jack of all trades, Whispers of the Dead makes sure to keep the rogue ahead in this specialization. For players wanting that damage power, Wails from the Dead is where it's at. It reinforces the guerrilla combat style of the rogue and rewards the player by sending automatic damage to another target. My only issue with the subclass is that we have to wait until level 9 for the tokens of the Departed feature. It's a fun mechanic that easily could have been the main feature of the subclass that ties the theme together. With that said, I want to hear from you. What do you think of the Phantom Rogue? Let me know down in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, I drop a video every week, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're looking to play a ranger subclass that will let you summon a swarm of nature spirits to aid you in combat, check out my video on the Swarmkeeper Ranger. You can click on the video on the screen to see the new features the subclass can bring to your table and how you can fit it into the official 5th edition settings. Alright, I'm out of here. Have a good one.